All right, listen up, guys. Taco Tits doesn't really care about policy. He's too demented. He's too busy redesecrating the Oval Office. He's too busy fighting with people online. He's too busy talking about the grievances and all of the hoaxes against him to give a shit about policy. So the person who is coming up with all the policy is a little bald sociopath named Stephen Miller. This guy is the one that's behind all of the fuckery that you see with this MAGA regime. He is evil to his core. And Stephen Miller's wife, Katie, went to work for Elon Musk. That only lasted a few months. And now she's reappeared. She's quit her job with Elon Musk. And now she is entering the podcasting space. And let's listen to her intro video.
Why? Because for years I've seen that there isn't a place for conservative women to gather online. There isn't a place for a mom like me, mom of 3 young kids, 4, 3, and almost 2, and a wife, and trying to do a career, eat healthy, work out. There isn't a place for a mom like me. And so I wanted to create that space where we have real, honest conversations with people across the political spectrum and across the world to get lifestyle information, news, laugh with our friends, gossip about what's going on in the world from our perspective.
I agree, Katie. There isn't really a space in America for women who are married to heaping piles of dog shit, and for women who sit around and apologize while their husbands kill other people through policy, and while their husbands torture other people through policy. There isn't a space for that. So I've taken the luxury here, as kind of a woman who's been in podcasting now for almost 3 years, I've taken the luxury of curating a little guest list for you so that you don't have to work so hard because you've got the kids, you got the psychopath husband. God only knows what you have to do with him. All right, my first idea for a guest here, let's put this up. This here is Susan Adams, and she is the wife of a child rape supporter, Republican out of Utah. Let's put up the headline. GOP lawmaker changes law to help relative facing child rape charges. So I'm thinking that Susan could be a great maiden voyage episode. This has all been in the news lately. You know, what's so interesting about this case in particular is it's simultaneously happening at the same time that McCankle's Taco Tits is trying to cover up his involvement with pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. I have another idea for a guest. And I think the next, episode 2, you roll out Ginger Lucky Gates, wife of Matt Gaetz. I think this could be a banger of an episode. I think the algorithm would greatly, greatly favor it. Let's put up the headline regarding Matt. Matt Gaetz, former Trump AG pick, had sex with underage girl while in Congress, House ethics report says. So, Katie, this space that you're trying to create for women like you, these are the guests that you need. These are the women with whom, as you're braiding each other's hairs, you can talk about what demented, deranged sociopaths your husbands are and why you're still married to them and why you're trying to create a space that you think this is okay or that this is normal, because it's not. Next up, I think Jean Hassert would be a fantastic guest. There's Jean right there with her husband. Let's put up the headline. A man 2 heartbeats away from the presidency was a serial child molester. This man was a former Speaker of the House for the Republican Party. Serial child molester. MAGA is the party of sexual depravity. That's why they're all covering up for Taco Tits' involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Next up, the next guest that I think would be a real banger would be Paulie Jordan, the wife of Jim Jordan. Some people spell his name G-Y-M instead of J-I-M. As everybody knows, Jim Jordan is a huge Donald Trump ass kisser, and he used to be a assistant coach at Ohio State University. Here's the headline. In new documentary, former Ohio State wrestlers say U.S. Representative Jim Jordan knew about Dr. Strauss's abuse. And I watched this documentary over the weekend, and the amount of people that know about sexual abuse that cover it up is staggering. This happened with the Catholic Church. This happened with the Boy Scouts. This happened with the Southern Baptists. This happens with the Nazarenes. This happens with Jeffrey Epstein. You may remember Trump in an interview saying, Jeffrey Epstein's a really good friend of mine. He really likes women, a lot of them on the younger side. Trump himself admitted that his age limit for dating or making out with women was 12 years old. This is not normal. So, Katie, I'm thinking that Jim Jordan's wife, you should have on your podcast too. Because if this is the space that you want to create, these are the people that you need to hang out with. These are your peers. These are the people who have the same level of moral rot that you and your piece of shit husband do. Next up, I think we should have Suzanne Craig. She's the wife of former Senator Larry Craig. And this was one of my and my mother's favorite stories of all time because we both love a Republican sex scandal. Ex-Senator Larry Craig says bathroom sex sting defense fell under his official duties. So here was the story. Senator Larry Craig goes to an airport, and he's this big anti-gay, of course, Republican politician. And one of his side projects is that he's on gay dating sites. So think about this high-risk behavior. It's a sitting U.S. senator. He's married. He talks about his faith all the time. And he also tries to pass anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. So he goes to the airport, and this was a prearranged situation where he sits in a stall and then he needs to tap his foot over the stall to let the person that he had communicated with previously on the internet know that he was there to do gay stuff with. Well, it was a sting. It was the FBI. They arrest him, and much to their surprise, it's none other than the Christian hypocrite, anti-gay, United States sitting senator at the time named Larry Craig. And so for Katie Miller, I think that these types of spaces are disgusting. I think the fact that you're sitting there acting like you've been left out of the world is disgusting. You get excited, you and your husband, about kissing the ass of billionaires. The person whose ass you kiss inherited $500 million. And the people that you want to deport are the people that run businesses in the country. I'm going to give you a prime example. Recently, I went to a local Mexican restaurant in Oklahoma City, owned by immigrants that came over to the United States, started this fantastic restaurant. They put so much pride into this restaurant, and I envisioned them before they opened it up, that they had a dream to come to America to have a Tex-Mex restaurant. The whole family works there. I imagine them tasting the food, and it's excellent. They always serve with a smile and as happy as they can be. And I imagine that they think, God, this is amazing. We own our own business. They work their asses off. They work a lot more than you. They work a lot more than your depraved husband. They work a lot harder than Silver Spoon Trust Fund baby, convicted felon McCankle's taco tits. And they have all this pride. But now they're living in fear because of you and your husband and your sick desire to watch people suffer, your sick desire to create some white-only culture where everybody eats Cracker Barrel and watches Chuck Norris movies. It is an American nightmare. You and your husband are taking everything great about America, all of the multiculturalism, and you're packaging it up as something that is bad for society. It's sick, it's disgusting, and I hope your stupid podcast face plants in record time. That's all we have for today. I'm off to a pickleball match, and I'll see you all later.